Hey guys, I want to talk to you about a massive opportunity that sellers have in 2025. I'm going to give you the context. If you stick with me, it might be a fairly long video, 5-6 minutes, but I'm going to give you the full breakdown of exactly what you can do. So I want to talk to you about multi-threading, okay? Now the example I'm going to give you, within my last organization, we went from 2 people to 24 people in an account. And as I left that organization, we were finishing up the procurement process. Now, historically, that business had tried selling to this account 3 times in the last 5 years. So I'm going to share what we did differently to make this thing happen and make it possible, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is sometimes the silliness that we talk about on LinkedIn, right? You see these LinkedIn gurus like, hey, you need to multi-thread. And then what they're really saying is you need to get 5 people on your demo. The problem is when you get those 5 people on the demo, or whatever the number is AEs and these gurus, they focus 100% of their attention on their champion, on that one person. Now, don't get me wrong, it's good those people get to see the product, but that's not why we multi-thread. The reason that we multi-thread is we want to build more champions. We want to amplify and implicate the pain onto more people so they feel it more, so we can drive consensus. But we also want to identify, are there any blockers in the organization? Are IT going to block it? Are this new department, are they going to block it because they've got a different project they want to do, or they want to use a different tool? Right? So I'm going to give you a kind of a step-by-step guide today that you can use in upcoming deal cycles. Velocity people, get it. I'm all for velocity. I want to win deals fast. This is only going to add like a couple of weeks to your sales process, but your deal is going to get bigger and it's going to improve the likelihood of it happening. Your win rate will go through the roof. So I've got some couple of notes here that I want to take you through today. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at your account. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process that me and my rep did, right? So I want you to go to Sales Navigator. If you haven't got Sales Navigator, you just have to use normal LinkedIn. But Sales Navigator is good because it has a map that you can use, right? Stakeholder map. I want you to start doing stakeholder mapping, right? So let's say you can sell into 4 different departments. I want you to go to that and I want you to start looking at who's the most senior person in that department, who are going to be the people that are going to be like day-to-day like power users. Start to map those into the process, right? Build your stakeholder map, build your power user map, so that when you actually make the ask to do what I'm about to suggest, you have rationale and you can actually recommend people to come through. That's a big part of this project, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about workshopping. I think it's such a fantastic opportunity. So what we did is we did a workshop with this big financial service business. We went to their innovation center in London. Everyone got in this big room. There was loads of sticky notes. It was a really creative couple of hours and we walked out with a really positive outcome, okay? So stakeholder mapping is point number 1. Now I want you to aim for 5 to 10 people, something like that, and try and pick a couple of people from different departments if you can. And if you can get one person from IT involved, that would be great because we want them to actually at the end say, yeah, we can actually do this, is possible from like a IT perspective. We don't want IT blocking it, weeks, months down the road if you're doing an enterprise sales process. Now, the technology you can use, sticky notes, right? Like you can literally just grab a bunch of stickies on the way and do this in person. I'd recommend that if you can, because getting in person is a massive opportunity again for sellers. We sit behind Zoom too much and we don't build real relationships. But if you can't do that, I deliver some of this still today over a Miro. So go and grab a Miro account. I think you can get a free account. I pay like $10 or something like that so that I get better permissions and controls. I'm going to kind of leave a screenshot. If you look at the comments, I'm going to do a screenshot of what one of those would look like, just so that you can see that. And if you've got any questions, just drop me a DM and I'll happily share some more context with you. So use a Miro board, or I think Google have got a product, and there's some other kind of tools out there that you can use. Now, while you're running this exercise with Miro, you're going to be basically having a bunch of stickies you'll see, like on the left-hand side, current state, where are you today? What are you trying to achieve? What problems are you facing? What impact is that having? Right-hand side, desired state. What would good look like? How would we measure success? What would positive business outcomes look like? That kind of stuff. So we basically get these sticky notes, right? And the team get really creative in their groups. They start mapping this stuff out. And then what we're doing in the background is we're looking for champions and blockers. Who's getting involved? Who's identifying really big opportunities for their organization? And who are the people that are sat back going, that won't work, or that's not that important, or da-da-da-da. Like, who are the people blocking it? Right? We want to isolate those people and we want to try and convert them into champions where we can. So let these people do this, and I recommend like 20-30 minutes of that exercise, okay? And then for the next like 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how many kind of stickies there are, you want to be literally just peeling them off the wall, having an open conversation, and then running micro demos, okay? So micro demos to those stickies, 5-minute sprints. Hey, we spoke about this problem. this is how it's being impacted, and this is what good would look like. Let us show you how your peers are actively solving for that using our technology. Let me jump in and kind of jump into that little mini demo. Get technical validation at the end. Do we all agree that that would solve it? Great, move on to the next sticky. Okay, so we've got build your stakeholder map. Try and get like 5 to 10 people, something like that. Enough people so it's worth it. Don't get too many people. Like 20 was kind of, we were really getting there, pushing the limit really. So you don't really want to go any more than that. Either if you're doing it in person, great, just grab some stickies and a bunch of pens and some whiteboard markers. If you're doing it online, grab yourself a Miro account, something like that. Look for those champions and blockers. Then move into that solution mapping phase. So we've got all these stickies. Let's now run solutions back to those and get consensus. And then next steps is really, really important. So I've got a couple of actions for you here. So think about, is it worth doing possible department-based follow-through demos? So, hey, marketing, you seemed really engaged today. I know you're kind of coming into this late. How about we get a call next Tuesday where we'll do like an isolated marketing demo to do a little bit of a deeper dive into your workflows and processes and then see if there's any extra value that we can deliver for you if we were to partner with each other. So maybe doing like specific partner department follow-through demos. Get on a call with your champion afterwards. Get some feedback, right? So give it a couple of days, get some feedback, and then start to co-create that go-live plan, right? So when do we need to be solving this problem by? When do you need to have your hands on it and start solving? And then let's start working back using MEDDIC, decision process, all of that kind of good stuff, paper process, okay? And then to nurture, if you're doing this on Zoom, perfect. If it's in person, it's a little bit harder. But if you're doing this over Zoom or Teams or Google Meets, whatever it is, record the session and then snippet those sessions up into like 5-10 minute videos. And then you can use those to nurture so that you're not just sending emails like, hey, following up. It's like, hey, just wanted to share this, just kind of went back into the session, thought this was really interesting conversation that Julie brought up. Here's a snippet, share that with the group or share that one-to-one depending on how many people you've got going. So I think there's a massive opportunity for us as sellers. People are still very skeptical. 60% of B2B buyers suffer with buyer's remorse. People have got egg on their face, right? They've bought a lot of tech. It's not advanced the business. They're skeptical. We need to make it feel like a safe bet. The way that we do that and help finance approve these deals, because they're still super risk averse, is getting wider consensus. You've got one person coming in and asking for 50K, 250K, versus you've got 5-10 people coming in asking for 50, 250K. You tell me which one feels like a more of a safe bet, right? So I'll leave that one with you. If you've got any questions on this, let me know. Hopefully it helps. Let me know how you get on if you do implement it.